Your thoughts about the death of Kobe Bryant?
Well, it's shocking, and I think we're all still in shock about what happened. And I think it's a reminder that our lives are often touched by people we never even meet. And there are millions of people, not just in Los Angeles, but around the world right now, mourning because they were inspired by what he did on the field, what he meant off the field. And it's also, of course, such a tough human moment to think about, that he was spending time with his daughter.
Field. All right, I'll admit this may be a petty story, but I promise I'll get at a deeper meaning too, which I always try to do. This is really just somewhat of an excuse for me both to talk about the death of an absolute icon, Kobe Bryant, and his beautiful daughter Gianna, which just rocked me yesterday as well as the rest of the world. And of course, thoughts are with the families of the other passengers as well on board. And again, it does allow me to talk about Buttigieg's terrible relationship with the Black community. So by contrast, you have Bernie saying that Kobe was one of the greatest basketball players who ever lived. You have Obama putting out a statement about how he was a legend on the court. So that's just like two examples of people who are in tune with society. Okay, so Buttigieg's field thing could have been a slip of the tongue, although everything he says seems to be pretty calculated. But if not, look, this guy's extremely disconnected with the Black community. Kobe was an icon. You know, I touched base with a few of my Black friends and, you know, family members yesterday. Not to play that card, but I wanted to discuss it with them. And, you know, the horror was universal, and that was my sense of it too. One of them said this was the most devastating death for Black Americans since Tupac in terms of national icons, it was sudden deaths. Another friend of mine said Kobe defined Black excellence. He was a family man, unbelievably smart, multilingual. Wow, you know, something him and Buttigieg have in common. Artistic, won an Oscar, entered the NBA at 17, worked harder than any player ever, maybe, and still had all that talent. I mean, the stories about his work ethic. He won 5 championships. You guys know I'm a huge sports fan, so this is part of why I wanted to talk about it, but it's just a tiny data point when talking about Buttigieg's relationship with Black people. He just doesn't understand. He, as many of you know, promoted the white police chief involved in the death of a Black man. There was a failure to use body cams under his watch, even though they were supposed to be doing so. The firing and demotion of the city's Black police chief who recorded other officers using racist terms and more and more. So it's not shocking that Buttigieg can't get anywhere with Black voters. The more than $2 million Buttigieg poured into South Carolina TV and radio ads, some featuring Black supporters touting the former South Bend, Indiana mayor, hasn't budged his stubbornly low poll numbers in the state, 2% among African American Democrats in the recent Fox News poll. And when we're talking nationally, the Washington Post poll had him at 3% with Black voters. Again, this Kobe thing could have just been a slip of the tongue for Pete. Maybe I'm being unfair. I'm open to that, right? But this is part of a larger problem of his inability to connect with Black voters. He's really, despite being just a mayor, the ultimate elitist Democrat, bred in a lab to be a politician. Harvard, military service, all those languages. It's just the way he talks. He's just entirely disconnected with a lot of core issues, and especially core issues that relate to Black Americans. So, yeah, that's the story. But really, dude, rest in peace, Kobe Bryant and his family and all the members on board. It's just that was the most shocking celebrity death in my entire life. And, I just found myself crying periodically throughout the day. I can't imagine what all the families are going through. Rest in peace, Kobe and Gianna and all of the other people on board.